Yet, we have sailed through what could have been seen as troubling period. Coordination at all levels on our respective. So far, reports received from across the country indicate that our personnel carry out their functions dispassionately and professionally. We appreciate the ECSL fortitude in the midst of a number of technical challenges to live up to public expectations likely. I believe our domestic international observation missions may be reasonably satisfied with the output of our collective efforts. Equally, the significance of the role and the level of cooperation from all registered political parties during the electioneering process cannot be overemphasized, even though some overstep their boundaries. It is important to recognize that elections everywhere in the world are not devoid of disagreements. However, the focus on managing and containing our differences within acceptable legal boundaries is what is most important. There's always the procedure, the law. If you think you are aggrieved, you don't go to the street to do unlawful demonstrations. I would love to encourage everybody, when the results are read, if you think you are aggrieved, go to the courts. But when you choose the pattern of going to the streets, as a sector, we will not sit by and allow anybody to disturb the peace of this country. I have said that severally, and I'll continue to say that. Investigations into grave electoral infractions reported to the Sierra Leone police are at an advanced stage. Those who would eventually be found culpable, I repeat, will also be brought to book again. I would like to entreat all of us to remain patient until the ESL announces the final results of the elections, and those who would win to celebrate modestly and within the confines of the law, while those who lose must respect the decision of the electorates. People must desist, especially political parties, from announcing results. It's only the ECSL chairperson that has that constitutional rule to announce results. We are standing by to ensure that anybody who attempts to announce results before the ECSL announces their results, you also face the full penalty of the law, because it's a crime. And therefore, we will not sit by to allow people to announce results and get their people in the streets. I'm using this medium to warn all those. I'm seeing some audios and videos coming out of somebody who are talking as if that they are going to announce results. As a sector, I'm warning those people who have those intentions to desist forthwith. Anyone who feels aggrieved to seek redress using the court of law. Anyone who feels aggrieved, I want to repeat this again. I want to repeat it so that people can understand clearly. Because we're not too far, maybe 48 hours from now, I don't know what may happen. So people who believe they are aggrieved must use the court of law. I'm emphasizing this because of good reasons. The areas that the ECSL mentioned that these people have been attacked, there are some critical areas which maybe these are very serious areas, like Tonkolili. In Tonkolili, they almost wanted to light the ECSL officer, to burn the ECSL officer. And the person who directed that is also a personality, which is not too good for our electoral process. The boxes were carted away. In Lungsha, the same thing happened. The ECSL people was destroyed and the individual beaten. The police officer was also beaten, the female police officer, and they were also beaten. You see, this is the area where sometimes people want to ask questions or say statements to say the police is being high-handed. I'm sure all of you can attest to the fact that this election went peacefully without hearing a sound of a bullet. Nobody was allowed to fire a bullet because this is a civil election. Is about civil business, and because it's a civil business, we wanted the police to take preeminence over it, the privacy. But irrespective of that, you have civilians who took upon themselves to be attacking the police officers, to be attacking ECSL officers. For us, that is most unfair to us. However, we requested them to exercise some patience in reacting. That is why you saw there was no tear gas, there was no bullets out there for anybody, because we thought this should be a civil process and everybody should take part. If there was bullets, some people would have been scared to go out and vote. But the turnout was very high. But to me, as this is one of the highest turnout in this country, the people who have high to vote, he says the chairperson said I should leave that to him. But because of those miscreants, those hooligans who thought they should take upon themselves to attack other people, that's unfortunate on the part of those, especially those political parties those people belong to. Moving forward, we have already pre-positioned ourselves at the tally centers to ensure that the tallies are done peacefully and results sent to the ECSL HQ. As I'm talking now, all of those areas, we have our security personnel. And we are also moved into the areas where they are pulling where the polling took place to support the ECSL to ensure that those ballot boxes are brought to the regions. That's currently being done. So as a sector, we are again appealing to everybody, as we have done before the voting, that we must cooperate with the security sector, work with us for us to go to the end of this process. We want to have and to see a peaceful conclusion of this process. Announcements read, people jubilate. And let others join them to jubilate, because it is not going to be a one party. Everybody will be winning. It's not just one political party winning. Everybody, Sierra Leone will be winning. It is Sierra Leone. So take yourselves in all political parties that Sierra Leone will be winning and not an individual political party. And the security sector will remain with you to protect you and provide the enabling environment even after the elections. I want to thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. At this point, we are going to take a few questions from the public. Mr. Jones will coordinate that. Mr. Jones, please.
Thank you. Joseph Egbenda Kapua is the name. I work with a public broadcaster. Now, this may be probably for the ONS. Listening to the litany of attacks on, polling stations and staff of polling stations, particularly polling center managers, one would see clearly semblance of lack of adequate security, especially for staff of the ECSL at these centers. Reports reaching me also indicate that a few protesters are standing outside ECSL regional office in McKinney with placards shouting, "No projection, no counting." Now, if we have seen attacks on staff at these centers, polling stations, we've seen polling center managers dragged, beaten all over the place. What security apparatus do we have to guarantee safe counting process? Thank you.
Asma James, a journalist. To Mr. Commissioner, now we hear about projection all over the place. Can you please clarify the issue about the political parties are asking for the results to be projected? Thank you very much.
I'm going to buy a report for AYV. First question is for the ONS coordinator. There were reports yesterday about firing of gunshots at some polling stations. I want to know whether that was something you captured as part of your security updates, and whether people were arrested and how investigation is going. And secondly, Mr. Commissioner and National Returning Officer, when will the commission start announcing results of the elections? Thank you.
Yes, my question is for ONS, Pastor Coker. Can you confirm that there was no death yesterday?
Hi there, Portia Crow, AFP. For Mr. Kone, can you confirm that there are party agents from all parties inside all the tallying stations right now, presently? Thank you.
You don't? All right. Yeah, we can respond to this.
Mohammed Bango, publisher, Capital Times newspaper. Mr. Commissioner, at polling center 16-14-8, St. Anne's, polling could not take place yesterday. The allegation was the voter register was not available, and this brought the attention of the IG as well as other security personnel. And even with their intervention, voting could not take place. I want to know if that is aware by the commissioner or the ECSL. That is one. Two, so there are claims of gunshot yesterday at Bethel Center as well as Kankele Center at the eastern part of Freetown. Do you aware of that also? Thank you.
Somebody from flank. Maybe there. Goes after.
This question, my name is Patrick Salia, and I work for the state broadcaster, SLBC. My question is for the Office of National Security Coordinator. You just warned against premature announcement of results. Already, if you go through, I just asked the PPRC boss a short while ago, if you go through the official accounts of some of these political party officials and their cohorts as well, you'd realize that they're already claiming victory, landslide victory, for that matter. Landslide victory, and you've just warned against those premature pronouncements because the figures may not have been there, but them claiming landslide victory, underscore that especially. How do you respond to those claims?
The first one from the SLBC Director General, it was asking about the lack of adequate security in some of the polling stations, and that was maybe the reason why those attacks were done. I will categorically say no, it's not correct. There were security personnel in most of the polling stations. Now, I have told you, election is a civil process. We have refrained from putting security personnel in those stations with lethal weapons that was scared of people. So what happened is the general duty police officer was there with other police officers, but they had no weapon. The ones that had weapons are far off. And here you are talking about a crowd of people moving to create mayhem. And all of these incidences that happen in this town and even all of the other areas, you had a crowd of people moving with maybe just few. And for this particular election, we used close to about 17,000, I guess, officers in almost all of the police stations in the entire country. We had the RSLF. They are there to support the SLP, but at a far distance, at a far over 300 meters off. Because that's the law. You should not go closer to the police station. So all of these things that happened, it happened because we wanted it to be a civil business, a civil affair. All of it could now be lessons learned moving forward. But it was not because of lack of security that these people were attacked. In most cases, the attack took place even spontaneously. You know, where they were, for instance, where they had a mismatch of a voter register. They want to take that voter register to go and bring a new one. The crowd became agitated. They thought people were going to cheat. They thought people were going to do. The people are suspicious of everything. That shows us pigment of imagination that these people want to do this and that. All of those things have created some of these the attacks in some of these areas. Okay. But I will categorically say that we have security all over, everywhere. The people can attest to that there were security presence everywhere. The other one, somebody's talking about gunshots. Say whether they had gunshots. I don't know whether they were gunshots, really. I never heard about gunshots. Because for some of these things, we have a national situation room. It should be reported if there are gunshots. So for me, there were no gunshots. I had no gunshots. There was somebody asked for me to confirm whether there was death yesterday. Yesterday there was no death. No death occurred. But just this morning, the fellow who was attacked in Tonkolili, alongside with another person, I was informed that he died just this morning. Before coming here, I got that information. He was mercilessly beaten by the attackers just this morning. You know. The claims of counter claims for the announcement of results. The one you are seeing, I'm also looking at, some of them are posted on social media. Some of them are there. For me, we look at social media, we monitor social media, but we react to them. When you practically want to do what we said you should not do, that is where we can come in. All right? Because sometimes people make statements, and then when you go to their WhatsApp page, they will tell you somebody else has used my WhatsApp page. So there is nobody to compare whether somebody else or somebody used their or it is themselves who did the thing. So for us in the sector, we will continue to warn people. Yes, they have the right to put it in there if you want to put it in their WhatsApp pages, but they should not announce results. Nobody should announce results. The one you are putting out, those people you are putting out, that is left to you. Because the figures you are putting there may not be even correct. It's a question of announcement. Like when I saw one audio, somebody say he wants to organize a press conference. Nobody is going to organize press conference in this country to announce results. Will I allow you to do that? The moment we know you're organizing a press conference, we make sure nobody sits in that room. Nobody sits there. In that room. So, Mr. Patrick, I want to assure you that the question of premature announcement, let's wait and see. We have warned people, and even before the election, we advise people also not to go to the streets. When you vote, go home. Yesterday, we are everywhere trying to talk to people. All of these areas they are talking about where this crisis took place, we visited all of those places yesterday. Myself and the team, the IG, the CDS, and our other colleagues. Even at St. Anne's. I was at St. Anne's yesterday up to 11 o'clock. We had to let the people vote. We don't allow them to say you have to vote. We don't let to vote yesterday. There was some problem, but we had to, that was amended.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. When the security personality is talking, you see, it talks, with force, so that everybody will understand what that means. For us in the electoral space, we talk slowly, but firmly, and assure the public that everything will be fine. Before I respond to the questions, let me recognize again my brothers on my right. These are all electoral management, head of electoral management institutions in respective countries. I have here the chair from Gambia, the chair for Electoral Commission for Tanzania, the chair for the Electoral Commission from Burkina Faso, and the chair from Malawi. He, in particular, was here. He started the review of the Public Elections Act 2022. He did the first review and made recommendations. The one from Justice Kachali from Malawi. He developed most of the policies that we have based on the recommendations of the 2018 elections that led to the enactment of the Public Elections Act 2022. They also have accompanying commissioners from these countries. They are here to support me, not to everybody, just me. And we also have our sister, the chair from Liberia. She's right there. I want to thank you. I know some of you might be planning to return, and you came, you saw, and you will go in peace. But be rest assured, your presence here gave me a lot of confidence as learning and supporting mission. I appreciate your coming. Thank you. And I also want to recognize our brother, Sano, of his salon or his Sierra Leone. He brought in the innovative idea of having a medical center or a clinic just at this center, just in case anybody, collapse or any medical issues. So even if you want to check your blood pressure, we have the nurses just across, just right here at the lobby. So thank you so much, Sano and your organization for that wonderful support. These are all initiatives that we think we've added to this process to make it more, just like fun. I usually say when I go to observe other elections, we have moved into electoral tourism. And that was the reason we brought everything at this end, so that at least our visitors will contribute to our GDP for this 1 week or 5 days. Thank you all for coming from for our international partners. So let me go to the questions. I will add to the question by the director of SLBC relating to the security of the tally centers, in addition to what the coordinator provided. We have received some stress call from our staff, just like what you read there. And we have contacted the security sector. They have increased the deployment especially in Bombali, at our Bombali office. So they are there. That question relates to this issue of projection. I think for the past 2 weeks, we have been bashed for using technology. And now people are asking us to tally, to project results. I think projecting results are all parts of technology. So that's contradictory anyway. However, we did not plan to project the tally of the results as they process. I know people are referencing what we have been doing during the by-elections, when we only have one station to manage, few stations to manage and one elections. We have been doing projection since I came in. But for this magnitude of result that we have to process within a given time, it is practically impossible to have projector that we provide the entry of the results of 8 or so personnel who are entering at different times. What we had promised before, and they know the procedure, that we will print out the results, which will be certified by the district returning officers, and we give them copies of the results. And they are there. I can also confirm that all political parties are present at our tally centers. We give them allowances of 2 political party agents or observers to be present at the tally center. They are all there watching from my CCTV. I can see even international observers are also there. AYV, I saw AYV as well, and some other media houses. So the process is very much transparent and people are enjoying the process. I also want to inform the public the ballot boxes are still at some locations which they are retrieving to the district offices. I was particularly reminded about this from my director of operation because of the experience he had. I think, was it 2012? He was mobbed very seriously. After the polls the following day, he went to retrieve ballot boxes with some materials, and they thought that was the ballots, special ballots, stopped with ballot papers. And he was saved by the police. So I just want to use this media to inform the public our staff are still retrieving materials from the field. Results, I'm sure all results are now at the district offices, and staff are moving with them to the regional center. Please don't see any of our staff carrying a ballot box and you start shouting that they are carrying stop ballot boxes, please. So as I mentioned, we are not doing projection of the tally as the process results. Announcement of results, provisional, you say, or interim results. I will come back to that. I have to go back to my staff to know the extent to which they have tallied results. And once we get reasonable percentage, we'll call press briefing to announce what we have gathered so far. And we really want to expedite the process. And we want to see how best we can do that so that the politicians who are already claiming victory, I'm asking them to wait, because what we have received is not official. And I know you want to appeal to your political supporters, but please wait. The Constitutional Constitution gives me that mandate. At least this one time, this one few days, let I enjoy and small. Of course, St. Anne Polling Station, it's not true voting did not take place. It took place. That's the station I read from my statement. Polls ended, voting ended in that poll at 11:30 yesterday, and the ballots were counted, and they will form part of the results. Yeah, we had series of issues from one problem to another, to the extent our staff, the temporary staff or the hard work staff, left the station. One of the stations, we had about 7 stations. 6 went on, and the last one there was nobody, so I have to pull my directors to go there and supervise the voting. So we're able to conclude that. Of course, parties claiming victory, we have told them they don't have the power they don't have the power to crown themselves. And if they had that power, they should have done that long ago without even going to the polls. So let them wait. We'll give them the figures. Any other question? One more set, please.
Abraham Kurma is my name, Executive Director of Citizens' Rights Network Sierra Leone, a civil society. This goes to the Chief Electoral Commissioner, Mr. Kone. My observation is why they are moving these boxes to another census. You have any representative from every political party that will move together with those people? That's my question.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Marcos Bangura, the managing editor for C4D Media newspaper. This election has been accompanied with huge lots of suspicion and distrust. And this has led to a lot of problems. During the day, that is yesterday, there have been a lot and lots of delays on the distribution of electoral materials that gave rise to suspicion and distrust. Don't you think if you had put things in place to take those materials on time, a lot of people could not have developed that suspicion and distrust that led to the attack on ECSL officials?
Thank you. I'm Tijan Jalo, and I represent the Times SL newspaper. During our visit yesterday in most of the polling centers, there were concerns raised by electorates, voters themselves. One has to do with the presence of political parties members who are not supposed to be in those areas. There were concerns of politicians holding pistols, intimidating voters not to go and vote. We had that issue at Loradov School. There was a vehicle with registration number 8285, and there were ballot papers in that vehicle. Members of the public had to intervene, and the issue got the attention of the Rosswood Police Station. They engaged the LUC on that one. Also at Lower Savage Square, there was an issue. Members of the public had to rush in to intimidate some of the ESL staff who were there. When we interviewed the ESL staff, told us what politicians went there to interrupt the process while they were doing counting. So I had to take upon myself to call the LUC to send security officers to go and manage the area. Lower Service Square, yes, was also an issue. And just like what my brother said, Marcos Bangura, some of the concern raised by people we are distrust and suspicious as a result of the delay in the transport of election materials. Like for Amaraya School, when they were yesterday,
there was an issue of delay in voting process. Voting did not start till after 2 p.m. We were there, and there was high military presence also there. And to the security sector, what we saw yesterday was a kind of professionalism by the military, the police, and other security apparatus. Because even when media practitioners go into those centers, we were accorded, we were accommodated to visit each stations and centers with our identification. We are not intimidated. We are allowed to take photos and other things. With exceptional cases, we are gunshots, we are fired. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Mariam Saeed, Hands of Hope Radio. So yesterday there was an incident at Allentown, Faith in Christ Primary School. One of the ECSL staffs, I think it was the PO in Station 8, Station 8, he the in the I don't know how to call it, the ink was dried. So one of the voters volunteered that I get dry ink na me lago kautam, like the blue, the blue that they use to wash clothes. So he allowed the guy to go and take the blue ink and brought it. So when they came with the ink and they were trying to mix the ink, one of the opposition party members, the agents that were there, saw the incident, and then he caused an alarm wherein stating that there was some funny issues going on. So before the whole incident happened, they called the police. But when the ECSL staff saw that the issue was going out of hand, he threw the ink behind the window of the classroom, which led to the guy being almost beaten up. But then they couldn't get access to him. They took him to Allentown police station. In that case, I want to ask, how are you guys going to help this particular voter that tried to help the ECSL staff that knew very well that he shouldn't have asked the voter to bring the blue ink to help him to mix it? How are you guys going to help this particular individual in that police station?
Thank you very much. Sheikh Mustafa Bawa, Global Times. Now we don't know when the results will be announced, but it is possible for us to know how much percentage of the tallying that has been done.
Mohammed Kone is the name. I work for Standard Times newspaper.
Yeah, so many of us. Don't get jealous. Go ahead.
Okay. From the incident that has happened yesterday, I want to know if there have been any arrests since yesterday. How many arrests have been made to the ONS here? And again, you talk about people not to announce results. But if somebody goes on social media and announce that we've won A, B, C, and D, how do you describe that? Because you are talking about those announcements put on social media are not your business. But how do you respond to that? If somebody goes on social media, put an audio announcing the result, how do you respond to that?
Okay, I think one more. We have to come to the end of this press briefing, yeah? We have a lady.
Fodi Moyoba Conte, I write for the Calabash newspaper. National coordinator, you keep saying that there were adequate security personnel in all of the polling stations. But according to the Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion reports, they said that some of the reports received by the commission was the aspect of inadequate security personnel in the polling station. And the Group 7G again observed a mission few hours ago in their press statement also made mention of inadequate security personnel in some polling stations. So I would like to know on what grounds do you stand to say there were adequate security personnel in all the polling stations? And secondly, the commission also observed that there are several emerging post-election tensions across the country. How do you intend to handle such kind of cases?
Okay. This is the last set of responses we have. We have subsequent press briefing. Political parties are not accredited to accompany the ballot boxes with used ballot papers. The votes were counted in their presence and the results were taken to the district or regional centers. I don't think even the politicians are interested in what is in there. All they are interested in is what was entered into, what were entered on the result reconciliation forms. So that information will just warn the public that our staff are still mobilizing materials. So that will not be misconstrued. Delays and anger. We have over 11,000 polling stations or 3,630 centers. I've highlighted here not more than 20 centers or stations. So it means Sierra Leone, greater majority, 90% of the centers or stations were open on time. In the Western urban, Western rural, we had no issues. Western urban, we had some issues in terms of delivery of materials because some of the staff abandoned their posts. Some of them left the materials at the warehouse. Some of them carry away boxes without their covers. We had printed the voter register and went through 3 steps of quality checks. These voter registers were packed a week ago, station by station, and we packed them in the separate bag for them just to carry to take them to the centers. And some of these staff, when they arrive at the station, they will not come back to say, there's a problem, this item is not available. We have to check until the public, the voters were actually the ones, some of them were calling us. So that's the problem. We recruited 92,000 staff and we cannot control all of them. We cannot profile all of them. As they say, they are always a bad apple among a dozen. So that is the situation, that's the story. But generally across the country, the polls were open on time. But we have identified those staff, and some of them we are going to blacklist them from our future recruitment. We'll take the necessary actions against them. For instance, Western Rural, we have about 424 centers. So if we are able to manage to open 400 on time, the 24, at least we can get a pass mark. Thank you so much. I think, young lady, your concern is very much in place. We had requested every citizen to be part of this process. But I think sometimes, because of the pressure on work, the easiest probably the staff should have done to explain this to the political party agents, that we have this constraint and somebody has volunteered, before using. Yeah. So hopefully we will have noted that and to be part of the discussions, post-election issues we will address in future trainings. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. The issue of when will come to the public by end of the day if we are going to call any interim results. The tallying started at 10 o'clock, so our guys are still working. I have to go back there and see, analyze the situation. They will alert you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's the end of the press conference.
Hey, you don't know? Yeah. No, go ahead. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let me just answer these two questions. The first question he asked, it was whether we are arresting people. Yes, we have started arresting people and we have started investigating. And what about those who are posting on social media? Yes, if you post something on social media and we think also it's a recipe for crisis, we can bring it for questioning. That can be done. Somebody was asking about adequate security. Of course, there's adequate security everywhere because we have prepared for this election. All right? Thank you very much.
All right. Commander, let's go for lunch, eh?
Yeah.
Hello, followers. If you now you first time this for can view na SN News blog before you go now for like the page because here we are pro partisan. You understand? We are partisan, but we always make sure see we give out the right information. So what you for do now, like the page and ask your brother like you join the page so that we will continue for the giving out the right information, right? So we don't get from the ONS, nobody don't get right for announcing the results. That is why most times we tell you now, but we on projection because every party get right for get a talent center. And from we on talent center, the SWP is leading heavily. So no need for panic. That is why we always agree on the caution say now the ECSL get right for now you get the constitutional right for pronounced older than the winner, yeah? Kamakui Road.
When I do they come, then say no. Alaba they come, then say no. Sokolili they come, then say no. Now wait till they want. Kamakuero, Milan flag bearer. Kamakuero, party chairman. Kamakuero, and in deputy. Kamakuero, secretary general. Kamakuero, and in deputy. Kamakuero, with the chief whip. Kamakuero, financial secretary. Kamakuero, papa insiste law. Kamakuero,
Mechanic, what's the name to come already? The panel 30 minutes.
Let's go.
Give me 5,000 there. But what's in this?
Mende man. Una get now to Moss. If you not right for you left farm.
Nothing not get now. Una take bad that join.
Easy. Not fine for the talk bad, but we come paint sky by religion. Small time now we go reach social media. But boss and kata for donna country.
Wala, una see them, they say tongue scatter.
Let we can begin go ya.
Oh wait, who that talk so?
Me don't know. Either WhatsApp, either Facebook. Like just me call me. Look, no.
But you left me. Now all picture this.
Nah, fake. Bang.
Fumble them. Not to so for begin to use the go. Think am first. Who that talk up? Who stem and who side them talk up? This can go bring camp on social media. Keep face kata and pull with Mama Salonu. Lonta.
Not true. Think and check well when you see or hear any information. This message is brought to you by UNESCO and support.
Election time they come. Remember, waiting we don't be. You know the trouble and wahala where we be don't see. So take your time today and know waiting you for do. No make that same mistake. Let tomorrow you know go say if I be no. Election time they come. Remember, waiting we don't be. You know the trouble and wahala where we be don't see. So take your time today and know waiting you for do. Don't make that same mistake. Let tomorrow you know go say if I be no. In 1962 election now be free and fair one. Ben no be day, kuku jumuku no be day. 1967, the opposition Martina in the winner. religion, no tribal conflicts, opinions separate us. But hand in hand, we go into the booth. Democracy, the government of the people, by the people, for the people, salon, now we owe. And before the next sunrise, our future is already set. Let no politics, no religion, no tribal conflicts, opinions separate us. But hand in hand, we go into the booth. Democracy, the government of the people, by the people, for the people, salon, now we owe. And before the next sunrise, our future is already set. We've been led too far, too long, so long. Our return seem impossible, even though we tried. Our progress gets difficult every day. We all need a moment of silence to know who we are and why we exist. We've been down too long in the slums, so long. With a declining economy and increasing adversities. Designed by the fountain ambition of those who lead us. The young men spend fruitless hours in the ghetto. No future, no hope. The young girls gave up their pride of womanhood. Why? For survival. Parents spend sleepless nights thinking how to settle the bills. Inflation causing madness everywhere. Our children have no hope for the future. See how we're falling apart. Let no politics, no religion, no tribal conflicts, opinions separate us. But hand in hand, we go into the booth. Democracy, the government of the people, by the people, for the people, salon, now we owe. And before the next sunrise, our future is already set. Let us think and rethink it over again. See all what we've gone through. Let us feel a peaceful time and a better place for us to be. We are a people of love and splendor of God's beauty on our faces. Let's recall those days when men were men and women took pride in their full breast with beads round their necks and hips. Then the man say, Buwa bisye. Limba man say, Walibena. Kula man say, Jaramaha. Jabra man say, Babisekeo. Kuya man say, Pamona Kusha, 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 Kusha. Yes, we could all live together again as one. Politics should not be an instrument of division anymore. We may even agree to disagree and resolve the difference in the booth. Let no man deceive you with vainglory. No, not even with the sugar-coated vibes. So let no politics, no religion, no tribal conflicts, opinions separate us. But hand in hand, we go into the booth. Democracy, the government of the people, by the people, for the people, salon, now we go. And before the next sunrise, our future is already set. Wipe away your tears and roll your pains away. To every man and woman in this nation, once again the strength to rebuild, restore the lost pride of our beloved country. Let no man make a fool of us again as before. Even as we forgive and forget, we must learn to accept defeat as much as we are determined to succeed. Give tolerance and love without violence to one another. It's time again for election. Let's be sober and in our right mind. Take away sycophancy and hypocrisy from our minds. Let the right man be in the right place. Let the voice of the people be heard. Yes, we want it free and fair. We don't want no gunmen, puku power. We are tired of it all. Yes, we want it free and fair. The future is in our hands. We can't go living in the past anymore. Let no politics, no religion, no tribal conflict, opinion separate us. But hand in hand, we go into the proof. Democracy, the government of the people, by the people, for the people, alone, now we own.
Awa It's a body out. It's a body out. You are not.
Gashon the hit maker.
Oh, I'm a calon. Gigi ama bonfo. Musamwe kwa olona bi eko madabi oma. Nyada himi aleka kwa nanu be ya ombeli loma. Eda himi abongo kwa ga mu na beli eda bako ka gbala hilo. I'm a calon nyami abon. E polo be o na fu ye so da wa bebe. So da wa bebe. Ya polo be o na fu ye so da wa bebe. So da wa bebe. You know, nyonga le nyambanga ma. You know, nyonga le nyambanga ma. You know, nyonga le nyambanga ma. Nyonga le nyambanga ma. Benya de go bubu gwa jawe akama. Bubu gwa jawe akama. Bubu na golo gwa tekwiro. Bubu na golo gwa makonde. Bubu na golo gwa tekwiro. Bubu na golo gwa gakwiro. Nyonga le nyambanga ma. Nyonga le nyambanga ma.
Oh,